Welcome back to Shake Talk. I'm here with myself,
DJ,
and our main photographer guy, Danny. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
I mean, this has been an honor to have you. I mean, you've been one of the people that we've kind of been paying attention to, and we kind of really are kind of honored to start this new journey of Shake Talk with you at the forefront. Really, what I really want to kind of get into is just what I've been paying attention to the whole time is this on your camera?
The photography.
Yeah, the photography.
Or this specific camera. Is that
is
what
this
you were
personal preference?
Okay, yeah.
Is this handle personal preference?
It is, yeah. So I mean, it's so this camera, it's this kind of long, and I hope it's okay. But so I shoot what's called medium format film. It's a lot larger than a 35 millimeter negative, and this camera itself is just gigantic. It's almost comical how big it is. It's like a cartoon camera, but it doesn't come with the handle initially. But it's so hard to hold without having some sort of like.
It's massive.
Yeah. So so I added that on there. I didn't make it or anything. It's not like they sell it. They sell that like handle. Yeah, this wooden handle. I guess not everybody can see, but for I guess the listeners, yeah. It's a wooden handle attached to the left side of a giant metal camera that looks like a giant cartoon camera.
I gotta ask you. So, obviously, when Caleb brought this all to you and like what we're doing, what made you the most want to do it?
To be a part of the podcast itself, or to like help you all with photography
in general. Yeah.
Well, I have this like. I feel like a lot of people have like supported me in all my creative endeavors in my life, and I try to really pay that forward. I don't, and I feel like when I was in my early 20s, I started a magazine, and I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for like just like people like in my hemisphere, like in Austin, like everybody just came out and really supported us. We had launched a Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. For like $8,000, and we ended up getting closer to like $15,000, I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if that number is correct, but it was somewhere up there. And
I know from our perspective, we're like, it's very like low budget. It's in the backyard type situation. So I guess like, especially with Caleb and DJ coming on now, it's kind of weird seeing people support us in this way.
Yeah,
because we didn't think it possible for someone to be like, oh, these guys are going to do something good with this. Like, I believe in this. So it's kind of seeing someone so professional and so adequate in skill. It's kind of new seeing that.
I mean, that means a lot. I don't feel that way like 90% of the time, really but I appreciate you saying that.
Like that first shoot we did, we were children. We were children coming on that.
No, y'all killed it.
And you came in, you gave us the baseline, like this, and you handled the rest.
Oh,
and it was perfect.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, also, like, going back to what you said about, y'all are like a little... you're like, kind of...
You can say trash. It's okay.
No. But you're like, getting started, and like you said, doing it, you hanging out in your backyard or whatever. But it is like, it's a lot of things start off like in a, in an attic or a basement or like a garage, or like...
So you believe that there's a potential of us going farther than this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, y'all seem committed. Y'all seem like you really put in the time and the work, and I've been seeing it, firsthand, which has been really cool. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to see like y'all kind of evolve and grow. Yeah, I imagine y'all get bigger guests, and
honestly, you're a celebrity to me right now.
So. No, come on.
Yeah, man. Especially when you took the first pictures, it actually kind of made. Yeah, it made it real because it was just like, man, I've never had these type of pictures taken of me before, or like especially in a professional setting, or like close to a professional setting like this. So it kind of gave us that reality check, like, yeah, this is real, this is happening.
It's always like there's a level of there's a level of commitment that we're doing because it's kind of like a club, right? Mm-hmm. It's we just hang out, we do it. But then there's going to be a level where we're doing it, and there's people actually backing us, people requiring something out of us, and it's I mean, I feel ready for it, but it's still a little scary, I guess, sometimes to have that idea of people depending on us to get the job done on this new project.
So like, what is like with that being said, what was kind of a similar moment like that for you, especially like in photography? Like, what was a similar moment where you were just like, this is real for me, like this is a real thing?
Oh man, like, ooh, I don't even know if like that's like something I feel. And even if I think it started happening, say I started getting like more published work and stuff like that, like photos or even my designs or anything, just really, I think it's really hard, especially when you're in it, to like see, like, I don't know how to phrase this, like that you're actually like moving like kind of up in that like kind of creative, like,
It's a passion. It's a job, not a passion type beat.
well, well, I love photography, and I
Yeah.
think it's I just like even lately, like I'm struggling a lot with my design stuff right now because it's like, we're hitting the thick of it.
Yeah.
Like, as far as finals go and stuff, and final projects and having to get all that stuff done. But I kind of I've been scheduling a lot more like photo shoots and stuff, and I think mostly it's because I'm stressed, and like photography kind of is like
Relieves it.
yeah, it's
Really?
kind of like therapeutic almost. Like it's just something I love. It's like a hobby that I just like love, and yeah, I would love to make money off of it, but I also know it's like going the photography trajectory in life. It's not as lucrative as something like graphic design, where it's a lot more like feast or famine. You're like, yeah, like you have like people hiring you, in a season, like a lot, to do some photography work, and then it's like a drought, and then nobody's hiring you. So, I feel like working in design, especially if I go as far as like an in-house designer, or like even work for a small boutique firm or an agency of some sort, like it's more consistent work, right? So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question or I went around that, but yeah, I think it's like one of those things where I'm not.
So in your case, it's not something big. It's the little steps along.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I really, yeah.
Has it always been like that?
I think so.
Was photography something like really young? You knew like this is what I liked.
So it's so weird because I'm 36, so like I'm older, and like I feel like I've lived like 5 lives.
You've been through so many things
in my 20s, yeah, because I didn't know what to do, which I think is kind of crazy that we have to know what we're gonna do when we're 18.
Yeah.
In my 20s, I thought I wanted to be a writer, so I went the English lit route, and I started a literary magazine, and like I really thought I became an editor, and I just realized I hated it. And it didn't take me until like, later to like realize that there was other things I was passionate about. I did do photography in high school. All my friends were in bands.
Yeah.
So, I would go to shows and photograph them and stuff. But I always saw it as like it's just a hobby that I love to do. And when I got to college and I was doing English lit, I remember all my friends like running into them and they'd be like, oh, how's everything going? And like, what are you majoring in? And I'll be like, oh, English lit. They're like, what? Not photography? Like, you love photography.
Right.
So I actually put photography aside for years. And then, I think I was 27 when I picked up a camera again. And then I just like
lit it off.
Yeah, exactly. It just like consumed me. And I just like wanted to just have a camera on me all the time, which I kind of do.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not shooting it, I always have a camera on me.
Yeah, that's
just in
behemoth
case.
right there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that thing looks so pretty.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a beast. But I like this thing.
So is there ever a point where you think you're putting too much into it and that you need to back off, like financially saying?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, definitely. It's pricey, especially because I shoot film.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like buying the film is expensive, and then developing it and scanning it is also expensive. And so it's just like a lot of my own money putting into it. I am trying to, like right now, all these shoots that I've been kind of doing recently, which I'm sure y'all have seen on my Instagram.
Beautiful.
I'm trying to focus them, angle them more editorial wise, and submit them to photo editors to try and kind of get some more editorial work while I'm in school. Mm-hmm. And even like, someday I would really love to merge my design and photography kind of passion and like really find a way to have them merge. And, I like print design a lot, and I would love to work in editorial design. I feel like they can kind of work together. And I know some designers, one of my favorite designers. He was Paul Rand is his name, but he would photograph his own stuff.
Just for fun.
Right.
Or like whenever he made designs, he like if he needed a photographer, he would just photograph it himself instead of like, getting another photographer to do it, which I thought was really cool. And I would love to do something like that.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds awesome. So wait, is freelance work mainly what you do?
Yeah. As far as photography right now, like freelance work, I do some. I do a lot of like, I do weddings too, which
I bet that pays out the ass.
it does, but it's my like least favorite thing to do.
Oh, because so many people.
It's just it's just a lot of pressure. It's like
Really?
you want to make this person, and
it's up to you to make
I
that
look,
day.
Yeah, and I look at my work, and I appreciate all the nice things y'all say about it, but I look at my work, and I just like any other artist, like you see the things that are wrong with it first.
Yeah, you could have done better in this area.
Yeah.
Could have put more into this thing.
Yeah, and like especially when it's somebody's really special day, I
Yeah.
want to give them something like really great, and sometimes I feel like I fall short of that, and I send it to them, and and then I always feel bad. I'm like, what do they like them? So I always either overshoot, I shoot too many photos, and then it takes me forever to edit them, or I shoot too little. It's just like
You're
there's,
definitely
like,
more quantity. I mean, quality over quantity.
Yeah, that's how I like to work. But whenever I get hired, I end up overshooting because I'm like, oh, well, I need to get the perfect shots. So I'm just gonna keep shooting, Whereas all my personal work, I shoot 10 shots. A film roll on a medium format only has 10 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I shoot 10 shots, and then I usually feel pretty good about like 8 of them at least,
But when it's someone depending on you, you're like,
Yeah.
I gotta ramp it up.
Exactly. So it's a
And
little
I
bit
think-
stressful.
I think that's a safe mark because like it gives like the client or the person that you're working with a lot more leeway to choose from, because I know for me, if I was getting my pictures taken, I would hate to only have like 10 pictures to choose from, because then it's just like, dang, what if it's like 10 of them, like they're good pictures, but it's like, what if it's 10 of them that I don't like the pose in? But I think I like the way you do it because it gives me different poses to choose from, especially, and it also gives me an option of finding some type of candidness in between all of those shots to kind of use a versatility, versatility wise. But I think that's not something that you should like beat yourself up about a little bit. I think that's a much appreciated thing that I feel like probably some people in your industry don't kind of do. So,
I'm sorry, I'm invested now. I gotta ask. So you said like you live like all these different lives. What does that lead to? Like what was that type of background?
Oh man, I think just kind of wandering aimlessly. In my 20s, I was in the coffee industry for like 16 years.
Really?
And while I was doing that, I was always doing, of course, my creative things on the side. But like, for a long time, I thought I was going to open up my own coffee shop. I worked in like specialty coffee shops, third wave shops. Where they do latte art and dial in the espresso and stuff like that. And I thought I was passionate about that, but then I realized, I loved it, but as I just did it for so long, and it just made me, all the while I was always kind of hoping like, oh, I wish my photography took off, or I wish I could do all this other stuff, or even design. I was like, oh, I wish I was going back to school for design. That was like, that was in my plans since I was like 24. It's like, oh, I really want to go back to school for design. I want to go back to school for design. And I finally did it, and I'm glad I did.
All these different avenues essentially hit a ceiling where you're just like, it's just ain't it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So you feel there will never be one for photography or design in this case?
Well, I think those are them now. I think I've realized that like the thing that I am the most passionate about now is design and photography.
Like, this
I
is
think
it
those
for
are
me.
the things that I do want to really focus on, at least professionally, career wise, is photography and design. Because everything else was kind of like.
That's commendable though, because a lot of people, when they reach a certain point in their life, they're like, there's no point. But you ran for it.
Yeah, and it's hard sometimes. I mean, it's like not sometimes, a lot of times, because I am older and I see all these like young kids. You know,
feel like it's a game of catch up.
Yeah, exactly. And like and something that I appreciate now going back is like I feel like I'm more focused and more like organized than I would have been if I had done this at the beginning. At like 18.
It probably was oddly enough, though it was you catching up, this is probably the best time.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not mad about the way that everything kind of turned
Because you're
out.
secure with everything.
Yeah. Like I'm happy that I went through this journey of like self-discovery and
But
trying to
that
figure
made
out
you
what I
to the
need
person
to do.
you are today.
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't change that because all the mistakes I made, I feel like really has shown me a lot of things. Like earlier talking about like, when I said a lot of people have helped me out in my life, it's just like I really felt like a lot of people were helping me out and I didn't see it in my 20s. And like now looking back, it's like I try to support, like even something as little as like helping someone move. People have always helped me move, and like now it's just like anytime somebody needs help moving, I'm like I'll help.
Yeah,
even though I hate it. I hate how like doing all that, especially like in Texas. It's always so hot and just like everybody's moving in summer. But so many people have like assisted me in like things simple as that, or even things like on campus, like when other designers need help with something, I try to always be like a helping hand, and offer my services, my work, and sometimes my wife is just like, oh hey, you should charge for this photo thing that you're doing, and I'm like, yeah, but also like, I know photography is expensive.
Yeah.
And I also know what it's like to be helped with a service that I think could have been, that like, would have cost me a lot of money, especially like when I was doing the magazine. I think that was a big thing. It's like I had people helping me design. I had I had a staff of editors that like helped me just like put the thing together, and none of us were getting paid from it. It
was just the passion for it.
Yeah, we were all just kind of helping each other out, and I think there's something about that is very, very important in the arts. But that said, it's like you should still value your work and charge for the work that you're doing. So it's kind of like it's a delicate balance, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Out of all the projects you've had so far, what do you think is the most difficult?
As far as photography or design or
anything creative wise,
man. It's something that I have found hard. I think it's mostly because I don't like it, or it's just not that I don't like it. I just wish I was better at it. I think I'm just not like, my mind just doesn't work that way. We were building this like micro website for one of my classes, and it was cool learning. And I thought I was going to be like good at it, and so it was really challenging for me to kind of get in that mindset.
Like the coding part, or
no, we don't really do the coding. We just kind of, it's almost like the front end, just like the
what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. So but that, I guess, as far as just like, I mean, that's something that comes to my head right now, but I don't think that's really what you're asking.
Is there ever a project that's you feel like you can't do? Like it's too much, or is it just I love doing it, so I just do it?
Yeah. So somebody was asking me the other day about design, and like, because it's so stressful, and I'm sure you all know because Caleb, who's also part of this podcast, he I'm sure you see him kind of really struggle. It's like a hard program. It's like a very challenging program that we do, but at the same time, no matter how hard it is, I love it. Like I'm not mad about like doing it. Like I still really love the design, even though it's hard. And once we get out into the industry and we start working, it's gonna be the same thing. Well, I'm gonna have like hard projects to work on, right? That are gonna be very challenging and take a lot out of me. But I don't hate it. Like I don't wake up and I'm like, oh, I wish I wasn't in design. I'm like, oh, this is really hard. But I'm like, I really love design still. I really love it.
It's not a job. It's fun.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's still
stressful.
Still hard. Yeah. And super stressful. Yeah.
I'm gonna say, is your workload like Caleb's, where it's like the whole week? And it's just
yeah. So actually, I have Caleb in all my classes, and I've had him in almost all my classes the entire like
time y'all been there.
Yeah, and so it's and I think people find challenges in different things. Some people are their focus is stronger in one area than another, and I feel like mine is mine is different than Caleb's probably, and I'm sure I struggle with something different than he struggles with. Something that he probably finds super easy, I find incredibly difficult, and vice versa.
Because every time we see him, it's like like the meeting before, and then it's just him like, oh, when we finish this, I gotta go. I gotta go fix this.
Yeah, and that's how it's been. It's been, but again, it's like there's something about it. I don't know about design. That just it's the out of everything I've done in my life. Like I said, I've done.
It just hits you, and you're like, yeah,
Yeah, I'm just like it's the thing I'm the most proud of. It's like going to this school, going to UNT, going through this program. I just I feel super proud to be
like
there.
Right.
Do you feel like you have something to prove to somebody in terms of what you do?
No, I don't have like a chip on my shoulder or anything about it, but I do. I'm like just excited to create,
Yeah,
And also, and I think it's a very competitive program, but I think it's really important to champion one another, Like, I really I really want to just support everybody else in the program and feel that support too, I don't think that we should all be competitive, but I think we should all be like excited. And I think for the most part, not for the most part, I think all of us are. We're all really encouraging one another, give each other constructive feedback when necessary. And I think it's a really cool program. I don't feel like I do sometimes. I'm like, dang, my design needs to be better. Like I was like, oh, I wish I made this better, or did that better, But same thing with photography. That's like, I'll do a shoot and I just I did one a few weeks ago and I just I liked it, but then I was just like the person I photograph. Sometimes I'm like, I feel like they might not like it. It just makes me like kind of sad because because I want to provide them like something great that they're a part of, that they feel like.
Well, as far as I can tell
with.
from all your shoots, it's nothing but quality.
Oh, thank you. I
the board.
appreciate that. Yeah.
What's and with that, it's like what's something that you wish, or something that you've learned that you wish you knew sooner in photography or design? Like, what's something that you learned recently?
What's that big lesson?
Yeah.
Dang. Well, as far as photography goes, like I said, I left it for some time, and I think the only thing I wish I had never left it. I think that if I hadn't left it, I might have potentially have already taken my photography where I wanted to go, because I had such there was a pause on it for some 10 years of me not even picking up a camera. So I think if I had continued to just photograph during that time, that I potentially could have felt in a more kind of solid place, have a more solid foundation of where I want my photography to be.
Right.
Yeah. So with photography, what I really want to do, what I wish I could do is, like I said, work editorially, but I like what's called documentary photography. It's kind of like project based. Picking a project, I really have kind of a this kind of this pull towards doing something dealing with the.
Just making a complete piece.
Yeah, but specifically the topic is the border, and Mexican American, the Mexican American border, south. My mom is undocumented, and it's just been one of those things that's one of those narratives that has really impacted my life. And so I've been working on this ongoing project about the border for years, and 4 or 5 years, and even interviewing my mom and even photographing her, but then also just going to the border. I'm from El Paso.
Right.
And any chance I get, I like to go out there and just take a camera and just photograph. And so that's one of those projects that I'd love to do. But at the same time, I love editorial kind of fashion work. I would love to do fashion photography.
Right.
That would be a dream. So more lucrative, right? So financially, I think fashion photography would be really cool if I could get that work. And then have that kind of subsidize my passion projects in documentary photography, stuff about the border. I think would be really cool. Kind of pulling back the curtain on that stuff and kind of highlight it and bring people's attention to it, and of the stuff that's happening, and kind of the hardship that comes with people trying to make it to the States from
Right.
the South. Yeah.
Is that a driving force for you?
Yeah, I would say so. As far as documentary photography stuff goes, something I think about a lot. I'm actually going to El Paso in a few weeks. I'm really excited to just spend time photographing. So I'll probably just get a bunch of film, take my cameras, and just really spend some time. I'll probably create a little journal before that, with kind of my plans, and then just kind of see it through. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm jealous in that aspect of photography because it's really you showing off the world, and you just go wherever you want.
Right.
because like me, I want to be an animator, and yeah, it's fun, but it's just me in my room type stuff. So I think photography is an interesting aspect of just being creative everywhere. Like your canvas isn't a canvas; it's the world around you.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks. But I mean, animation, that's so cool. Like that's something that I wish that something else I wish I knew and I could experience and learn. There's so many things that I just want to do. Like I said, it's just like there's
Do you think at one point it's not going to be photography, but just creativity in general that's going to be your focus in life?
Yeah, maybe. And I think especially the way I guess like a lot of different platforms are kind of heading in the direction of like AI and all this stuff. So I'm like, I feel like there's always going to be a place for like photography and a place for design, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
it does make me kind of nervous to think about like what is the future of
Everyday, man.
design and photography because of AI,
Yeah.
and it just advancements in technology in general. Like I was just like blown away by the fact that I can like edit out like a like a street lamp or something
Right.
on a photo. Like
So
that to me, I'm just like that already felt like the future. And then like, but now we're just like you could create a whole background around a character, or like not a character, but like a human being that you photograph.
And just take them out, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel that, are you abrasive towards it, or are you more accepting of it?
I'm not sure yet. I'm still kind of like
Because do you use it at all?
I don't think I have. I think
Because I know Photoshop has it, but I haven't really messed
yeah,
with it.
yeah. I've like tried it, like to just like see what it does, but I've never like used it like
On a project?
Yeah, or like even a photo that I've posted or anything. I've never been like, oh, but I've seen other photographers do it. Like the other day I was looking through Instagram, some photographer posted an image and then she posted like, oh, photo by me, edited in Photoshop, and then like under it she put like everything was, like taken in camera except for the mushrooms. And I was like, the mushrooms? And she like had these like AI mushrooms that were kind of like in the scene. And I looked at them and it's just, it was like a person like in like a kind of a forest situation. And the mushrooms looked real. They looked like they were part of the scene. So I'm like, oh, that's crazy. So people are using it for stuff, minor things like that. But I haven't yet. I don't know if I will.
I'm scared to it sometimes.
Yeah.
Because in some cases, like, you could just make a whole movie. Not a good one, but there's never going to be a day AI gets bad. It's only just going to get better from that day. And I think it's going to be a scary thing to see eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna progress or degress. I really don't know.
Yeah, because many people I've seen are like, they are hard against it, but I guess they do see the aspect of like, oh, I can tweak this without worry. I can do this without worry.
Yeah.
They use it as a tool instead of the whole thing.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are there any? Because there's this photographer that I've seen recently, and he did it's not Men's Health, but it's like Men of the Year or Man of the Year magazine, and it was with Kim K in it. And I forgot what his photographer name was, but are there like any photographers' work that you ever see on a magazine or see on like a promotional, like in a promotional aspect that you like look at and you're just like, I could take from that or I could take from this person? Like, are there any people that you check for in that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, oh man, I have a long list of photographers that I love and admire, and a lot of them that do editorial work. And I mean, just like yesterday, I saw this photographer, Jim Goldberg, who is this like documentary photographer. I have one of his like publications that focused on like Ukraine. It was beautiful documentary stuff that he did. But then yesterday I saw that he did editorial with Olivia Rodrigo, which I thought was wild because his work is very like, it's very documentary photography.
Right.
But it's cool that he was hired to shoot Olivia Rodrigo, but then, he's photographing her not in like, he didn't change his style. He's not like changing his style, making it look editorial. He's doing it in his style. And that's kind of what I would love to do. I would love to like do documentary work, but the work that I get hired editorially, not compromise my own like vision, but use my vision in order to like photograph like
Right.
celebrities and or musicians, especially musicians. I would love to photograph musicians. I think that would be it's like a dream for me. I really like Fader magazine. They just have some of the best photography, and I feel like my photography like would really fit in well with Fader. I like how just kind of I don't know, like they use like real locations and stuff, or at least they used to.
Yeah.
And they do some studio stuff, but I think I really love just like on location kind of work. And so, but yeah, it's a music magazine, and they have, they shoot Japanese Breakfast and Phoebe Bridgers and, YG and like, so it's just really cool to see them like the way that they do the photos, and I would love to work for them.
And I remember you said earlier you were talking about how you wanted to do fashion photography, and you would love to do fashion photography. Have there ever been like any brands or like fashion brands that you've seen far as photography wise that you were just like, dang, like they did like insane on this magazine, or they did insane on this promotional video, like.
Yeah, honestly, like something like I really like brand. I mean, kind of the high end brands are kind of cool. They do some really cool work, and they work with some really cool photographers, like Celine. I feel like their photography is always so great. I think Mario Sorrenti like photographs for them a lot. He's been a photographer for years. Did a lot of fashion stuff, but he's photographed for them. Even things like, you mean like Work in Progress by Carhartt? I don't know if you know, like it's Carhartt's more like, streetwear brand. I love getting their zines. They have these like magazines, and they're like seasonal lookbooks type thing.
Right.
And they put them out, and they're beautiful. They're like beautifully designed and photographed, and it's just really cool. They have a lot of text in them, and which I think is kind of crazy for like a like a lookbook, but it has like interviews and stuff in it. It's just like really cool. Yeah. So I would love to do stuff like that.
If you could do one for a brand, who would you love to do it for?
Oh man.
Like who's like recent? Like what are some recent brands that you've seen like recently that you're just like, man, like for what the times are going for right now, I could really do one of these.
I mean, I think somebody like Work in Progress. Yeah, like I think something like that. Like I feel like it'd be maybe lean more streetwear kind of style.
So like that urban street
yeah,
style.
I think some stuff like that would be really cool to do. I mean, anybody, like honestly, really. I mean, as long as it's not like like a department store catalog, which I have nothing against, like department stores, but like the images are very very different vibe. And I mean, if they hired me, I would probably still photograph for them. But like, I think I would love something more creative. So for sure.
So like me, I'm really big into fashion, and I feel like fashion is like an expression of like how you're feeling that day, or like kind of just who you are at the moment in time. So like I'm a big believer in you look good, or you wear something you like, you feel good. So like as a photographer, do you feel like that exists? As a photographer and designer, do you feel like that also exists in that space where it's just like you look good, you feel good, like?
Oh yeah, definitely. And so something that I do a lot, and it's actually how I meet a lot of the people that I photograph, is a lot of times I just meet them like I'm walking down the street.
You just talk
And
to them?
if I have a camera on me, I'll ask them to photograph them. But a lot of times it's their clothes that kind of like really interests me, And there's like something that's just like, oh, that's really cool. And so then I ask them, hey, you look cool. Can I photograph you? Kind of thing. 9 out of 10 times they say yes, which I think is kind of one of the cool things about like social media now.
Yeah.
It's like I think
everyone wants in on it.
Yeah, like
Right.
everybody likes to be photographed. I don't. Maybe because I prefer being behind the camera, but
You
a
and
lot
me
of
both.
people like being photographed. It's rare that I ask somebody if I can photograph them that I meet just like randomly. I mean, even people that I don't meet randomly, if I ask somebody if I can take their pictures sometimes. A lot of times they say yes, which I'm so thankful for all the people that just have let me photograph them just for like personal work, which has been really cool. And lately, I feel like it's been a lot. Like a lot of people have been kind of like coming out and been like, I'll like reach out to somebody on Instagram or something. They're like, "Oh man, I love your work. Yeah, I would love to." And I was like, "Oh, that's really sweet." And so I it's exciting. I also always offer them like prints and stuff, so I don't just
Has everyone ever told you like no?
Not really. No, I think really if people are like in a hurry,
Yeah,
true. I think I think I've had like I've definitely had more yeses than nos, for sure. Yeah, and I used to just kind of like walk around with a camera and just photograph like
Like people watching?
yeah, like street
Right.
photography, but as I think I become more and more into photography, there's something about like asking them for permission that just like feels better.
Yeah.
It feels more ethical and more
not like a stalker.
yeah, or like even like I think it's just like like taking their picture, right, instead of making a picture. I feel like
Yeah.
there's a difference there. It's I feel like
Every little person is an experience. And you wanna make
yeah,
that
yeah, and
experience
I'd like
good.
to make that connection and just like yeah. I think and I think I get better at things when I like stop them and ask them, "Hey, can I take your photograph?" And
It's more professional.
yeah, and sometimes the end result ends up being better sometimes too. If I just like try to sneak a picture of somebody, it's just not going to be very good quality. And also, it's like I feel like ethically, I don't know how I feel about it. Really, I feel like it's like taking somebody's picture without permission. Although I guess technically the law is like, hey, if somebody's out in public, you can photograph them, right? But but it still doesn't feel,
It just doesn't
I'd
feel
rather
right.
like I'd rather ask them, and I just like love meeting people. I really thrive on just like
You're definitely the more sociable type.
yeah. In a weird way, yeah. I'm like both social and like not at the same time.
You don't like when it's like a dense amount of people.
Yeah, well, see, I love my alone time, but also like I love to meet people. But I can at a party I can like love and talk to people and get excited, but then I need recharge. So I
Yeah.
need to go home for a few hours, be
Yeah.
alone, be a little bit more introspective and stuff. Yeah.
I remember when I first met you, whenever we were gonna do the first photo shoot, like the candid shots. I like had never met a photographer before, and like I had saw your work, so I was just like, man, this man is legit. So I was kind of a little bit intimidated. So I kind of thought you were gonna be like, kind of like in that aspect, like super professional. Like, I'm here to take your pictures, and that's it. And you actually came in. You actually like talked to us. You actually asked us like you came in like you were one of the bros, pretty much. Like it didn't even really feel like it was
didn't
really
feel
work.
like a job.
Like I
That's
think
fun.
I like that aspect of your photography where you kind of just come in and you just treat it like it's just a chill thing rather than it's just like I'm just here to take your pictures and that's it.
Yeah. No,
Like,
definitely. I think it's important to really just like make a connection with someone, and I think it's important to, and I don't know if I always am just like pleasant and kind and social, but I think it's really important to be kind and and welcoming and encouraging.
Are there any sections like of our most recent photo shoots? Are there any like styles or some that you liked of our particular photos that you've seen? Like, what has been your favorite style selections from like all of us throughout the 3 photo shoots?
You can
you've
say
done?
we're ugly models.
No, y'all are great. I think I liked it better like when we were out on the street because that felt more like my kind of
your
style,
element.
right?
Yeah.
Again, I mostly shoot film for my personal work. So I think at some point I would love to like photograph y'all on film because it slows things down. It's more methodical. That day, I think we all felt a little rushed. Like, oh, hey, we got to get these pictures
Yeah.
done. We're running out of time. We got to get back to the car because the parking meter, all that stuff. But it was still like we got some really good shots. I mean, even like when we were like on that right there when we were in the middle of the street.
That's
and
my
there's
favorite
like,
shot right there.
that was really cool. Like
Yeah.
I think it was it's cool just to walk around and use your environment, and then like your environment, like have your environment kind of dictate the shot. And because it's hard. Your mind thinks, as a photographer, I feel like your mind thinks more like problem solving, kind of, or like trying to be more creative when you're out on the street shooting, because you can't just shoot with any background.
Yeah.
You want it to kind of inform the person that
I
is
was
in
kind
the
of sad.
photograph.
Remember that big reflective piece in the like with the
Oh,
park? I was
yeah.
mad we couldn't do
Yeah.
anything with
I
that.
know it just wasn't working.
We're ugly.
and it like should, right? Like it should work. But
Yeah, I
something
would have
about
loved
it.
to make it work.
Yeah,
But I think that's an aspect of photography that you treat very well, is that you kind of fit pieces into place, right? You orchestrate it in the correct way, and it makes something pretty out of it.
yeah.
Because like
Thanks.
us just like just doing a picture up on the wall right there
Yeah,
wouldn't have the same weight to it as us walking, us in
Mhm.
the distance. Like it's that much greater out of you.
yeah,
Like it kind of like added that substance of like, especially like whenever you did the picture of us kind of holding the scans that Caleb drew up, it kind of actually made it feel like, you know,
A production.
yeah, it kind of made it feel like a production. Like it kind of like, you ever see those like old school, like 1960s, 1950s pictures of like people around pieces of paper, like architects around pieces
Yeah,
of
yeah.
pictures of pieces of paper,
blueprints and stuff.
yeah, of like bigger buildings that like hold weight in our society in America today. It kind of like felt like that in a way, for the most part.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I see, and I also really love process work.
Right.
I love seeing somebody's like work in progress. And so kind of trying to get a picture of y'all and kind of like behind the scenes, I thought was really cool. Really seeing like, and I feel it's something important that can inform, say your listenership grows,
Right.
epically, significantly, which
Hopefully.
I'm really really rooting for y'all. I think people that like are your fan base will like want to see stuff like that.
Who
Like,
we really
like
are.
things that I'm a fan of. I love. Sometimes I'll just Google things like photographers that I like. I'm like, how does this person edit their photos? How does this
Right.
person photograph? Even as much as like, what camera does this person use? Although I do believe that it's not the camera; it's like really the photographer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's like what is this person doing that makes their work theirs? Like, why does it, like, how are they thinking? How are they looking at the world that makes it, like, so seeing process work, I think, is really important for
Yeah.
stuff like that.
You said you're in the same, or is it the same degree plan or same program as Caleb?
Same program and degree plan, everything. Like,
So-
literally, we're graduating the same day.
Is there a mix? Do you mix graphic design into your work? Yes.
I don't combine it as much as I
Would want to.
probably should. For like my personal work, my photographs are just photographs. My design, like I have two Instagrams, one for my design, one for photographs, right? But there is like a place where they probably can both live together, right? And so yeah, I just don't. I guess I keep them separate, but I really should. And one of my professors, a professor that me and Caleb both have, recently he's been looking at a lot of my photography work I've been doing for other classes. And he's just like, oh, you should do, you could do something like this for, like I did something called cyanotype prints, which is like it's a way of like making images. And I would get into it, but it's just so, like, to explain it would be so complicated, maybe, or I'd just be not good at explaining it. But but he's done cyanotypes before, and he was kind of telling me about how, like, I should, kind of do stuff with design and combine it with, like, my photography experience, especially all my tactile photography stuff, because I do a lot of stuff in the dark room. I do a lot of stuff that's, like, like analog, like shooting film and making contact sheets and stuff like that, which, is... a lot of people still do it now, but like it's definitely like an older way of doing it. More traditional way of doing it.
Like a hobbyist type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, exactly.
Was it so for your design, do you enjoy that more than photography, or is it definitely photography?
Man, I like both a lot. I think they're pretty even now.
What do you mostly do with the design? Or what would you like to do with design?
Man, I love typography, like fonts,
Oh, really?
typefaces. Like I really love typography. I don't know if I would say I'm good at it, but it's like it's the thing that I love to do.
You big on calligraphy?
Yeah, a little bit. I do a little bit of what's called black letter, which is like I guess what like Old English, right? Like with the
Yeah, with the feather.
yeah. I get I don't do the feather thing, but I do like um, it's called like a parallel pen. So it's got like a flat nib on it, and you use the flat nib to create, like more, almost like
yes, yeah.
like very like kind of. Somebody called it Gothic the other day, like that kind of
Yeah.
style, but like Old English kind of style. I guess is the best way to describe it. But black letter, the one that I specifically been doing is called Fractura, which is like a kind of a version of it of like this Old English kind of type. And but yeah, it's really fun.
So it's made like publications, books.
Yeah, I want to be in print design for sure. I prefer print over like doing website stuff,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I think
I'd love to make posters. I'd love to make publications.
so. I'm at the low
Zines.
level. I'm at the low level of like all the graphic design stuff.
Yeah.
So like think of InDesign, I hate it. It breaks my soul.
That's like my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, I love InDesign. Yeah, I think it's my favorite to mess around with. It's like a big puzzle piece.
Yeah.
Once you're like dropping in all the text and stuff and trying to format it, it's really cool. I really like trying to problem solve with it. And I just spent the last 6 weeks working on one thing on it. So
Is it your final?
Yeah, and I finished it. I sent out for it to get print on Friday, and it comes back tomorrow. So
What is y'all's final?
it's we all have like our own thing. So Caleb is actually doing something Shake Talk related.
Yeah, I know his the book.
Mine is I'm doing like a film journal. I really like movies.
Yeah.
So I'm making a film journal. It's really big. It's like tabloid size, and it's in newsprint. So it's like a big
Wow.
newspaper. Not huge. Just
Yeah.
just a little bigger than like
How many copies of it do you make?
So I think we only really need to make one to turn in.
Ah,
But I ordered 20. Yeah.
are you selling them?
I don't think so because it's like, it's not. It's.
I would personally love to
Yeah.
have one.
Maybe
I would love to have one too.
Maybe I'll donate one to Shake Talk, but it's
Yeah.
not. I don't know if it's like very good, but I'm proud of the work I put into it though.
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
I want it to be great, but I don't think it's there. I'm like my biggest critic, so I don't think it's like as. It's not what I wanted it to be when I first started doing the project, but I am really proud of the work that I put into it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think that's most important than anything.
Yeah, and it's but yeah, no, I'll donate one to Shake Talk. So y'all can look at it. I had to. So I'm not a big illustrator, but I decided to kind of get out of my comfort zone and illustrate it. So I did a lot of illustration on it.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
No
Yeah.
photographs, which
Really?
my professor thought I was going to do photographs. He was kind of encouraging me to, but I kind of went the opposite direction.
You went-
Never
Challenge
let him know
yourself.
your next move.
Yeah, I really wanted to challenge myself. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Is there like whenever you're like taking pictures and stuff like that, is there ever a song or something that plays in your mind depending on the theme of like your photo shoot that you're doing during that period of time? Is there like ever like this is giving this type of vibe right now? Like I'm really getting this type of vibe from it.
It's funny. I was listening to an interview with a photographer I like, Donovan Smallwood, and he was talking about how when he was doing this series that he was working on in New York, he was listening to Kanye's Sunday Service and to and Portishead. He was listening to that a lot, and I was trying to think. I was like, what are my like albums? Like, was there something that I listened to? And I don't think there is. Like sometimes I'll have headphones on, but I forget to like play anything, and I'm just walking around like taking pictures. But I don't know. I almost wish I did. I wish I was somebody that could just put on. But I feel like I try to be aware of my surroundings when I'm doing it. And then whenever I'm shooting, photographing, I'm trying to get away from saying the word shooting to photographing. I feel like it just seems more appropriate. But whenever I'm photographing somebody, it's if we have like a speaker or something, I always let them choose, because they're the ones being kind of photographed and put into. I feel like it's more vulnerable for them to like just be like in the spotlight. So I always let them choose the music. But
You like
I
rent
think
out a studio?
sometimes we'll rent studios to do photography, or even if we're out and about, we'll have like a portable speaker. Like
Right.
I photographed somebody in Fort Worth at some like this beautiful park, and they had a speaker, and it just makes it so much more pleasant,
Yeah.
And I mean that was a pleasant photo shoot anyway, but it would just make it like it just eases people into it, Yeah.
Is there ever a song that plays in your head at all?
Yeah.
Depending on
So I
the day.
like love music. So it's just like, there's always like different things that I really love. My favorite band, which is kind of it's one of those bands that like either you love it or you hate it. Like either you know it or like you don't know it. Also, it's called it's a band an indie band from the early 2000s called Bright Eyes. And this guy Connor Oberst, and he's part of this like scene, this indie music scene in Omaha, Nebraska, and they really kind of took off. And they're just like, it's just since high school I've just really loved this band, and it's just very just I don't know, one of those things that just means a lot to me. But I don't know if I would say that that's something that's always playing in my head when I'm thinking creatively. Because as I'm saying this, I can't think of a song. I know I really like right now this band Japanese Breakfast. I don't know if y'all ever listened to
I've heard
them.
of Japanese breakfast.
Yeah. So I've really liked their work for a long time, and lately I've had this one song kind of in my head. It's called "Be Sweet," and I think it was like their first single off this album. And I think I listened to it when it first came out, and then I just kind of because it was the main single, it just kind of like very quickly became like the
dried
last
out.
like I was like I don't listen to that song anymore. And I listen to a few other songs. Other songs on that album kind of became like my favorites. There's another song called Paprika that's really good, and but lately I feel like that song kind of has come. I don't know if it's just like my Spotify.
Got tired of it.
Yeah, no, I'm like liking it again.
Oh,
like
really?
I think when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is cool. I even showed it to my wife, and then she liked it, and then like I think I was just like, it's like it's the cool single that everybody's listening to, or this being played a lot. And then it just kind of like faded into like the background, and then I started listening to the other songs on the album a lot more. But then like as of like a couple weeks ago, that song has been like I found myself like humming it,
So like this has kind of been like your theme song for the past few weeks.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I guess that's a good way of putting it. Like, the last couple weeks. Yeah, but yeah, no, I love music. A lot of bands. I mean, me and Ethan were talking about
Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Pink Floyd, and then Radiohead, and I just I really love Radiohead. And
I am jealous you got to see Prince.
oh, that was so fun.
Yeah,
I mean, that was
I'm
really cool.
kinda jealous.
But yeah, I think like I was telling him, that was wild because it was at Coachella in like 2008, maybe 2007. I don't know. I think you can look it up and see what year he played. But yeah, it was like at the end of the night, right? He was one of the headliners, and I had just seen Death Cab for Cutie, and I was just another band that I really love and loved in the early 2000s. And I went and like sat down on the grass with my friend Tommy, and he's like, "Hey man, you wanna see Prince?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." I like had known Prince from like my parents.
Yeah.
And, he's just like everyone. Prince, right? You know who Prince is, but I was never like into Prince. And then I just remember sitting down on the lawn with him and just watching Prince play, and just like it's like an epic show. And then Little Red Corvette played, and I just was like, whoa, like, and just seeing him play, and I was like, Tommy, look at that, and he's like, yeah, he's like, Prince is like amazing, and I was like, yeah, I was like, I know, but like, wow,
didn't
look,
know,
like, look
yeah.
at this, and he's like, yeah, and then he was just like shredding on guitar.
Was that like your is that like your first and only concert, or have there been like other concerts?
Oh man, I've been to so many concerts,
Yeah.
but that's got to be like my top three. So
Top three.
another one that I just like love. So in Austin, there's this venue where I don't know, you know Austin City Limits, right? Like the big kind of.
Caleb told me about it this year.
Yeah. So it's like a huge festival, right? But before it was a festival, or maybe at the same time, I don't know how it worked. But on PBS, they used to have a show called Austin City Limits, and it was just like in a tiny venue, and they would have a band play, and it would play on PBS, and it was called Austin City Limits, and they would like have like an intro, and they would always have like one or two bands play, and it's like 30-minute long like segment, and they still air them, like they still record them and air them, and it's called Austin City Limits, and it's on PBS, and a friend of mine worked at PBS at the time, or like the PBS like affiliate in Austin. And occasionally he'd be like, "Hey, I got these tickets to go see Fleet Foxes, but like, I can't go. Do you want them?" And so he would always give me tickets and stuff. And then I found out that Kendrick Lamar was going to play there. And this is like, this is when To Pimp My Butterfly just come out. So it was like, so he was, so he was like pretty like big at that point. Yeah. So he was only playing like, American Airlines Center and stuff like that, like big venues. But I found out he was going to do an Austin City Limits segment, and this is a smaller venue. I think it doesn't hold that many people, So I was like, if I ever, like, this is the ideal way to see him. Yeah. I was like, I want to see him this way. So I messaged my friend. I was like, hey, are you going to by chance get these tickets? And he's like, oh, they haven't given me any yet, but I'll let you know. And then I had another friend who also did like some work for them. Like, I don't know how she was affiliated with them, but I think
she was in there somehow.
She somehow like did stuff for them, but like it was like copywriting. And so they ended up assigning her the pamphlet, like the little like brochure for that night for the Kendrick Lamar. So she surprised me with that and the 2 tickets, and they were general admission. And then my friend who worked for them, he also was like, messaged me. He's like, hey, I got 3 tickets. Do you want them? And I was like, this is great.
It's perfect.
That must be so nice.
Yeah, well, but his tickets were like up on the top level, and her tickets were general admission. So if I get there early enough, I could get pretty close up.
Right.
And when I go to concerts, I like to be like at the barricade, and which sucks because you have to wait so long outside, right? But,
yeah.
But anyway, so I went there, and with her, we went. And we were like pretty close to the front of the line. And then we got there. As soon as we walked in, we walked all the way up to the barricade. It was literally, I was like from me to you.
That's how close he was?
That's how close I was to Kendrick Lamar.
Man, I'm jealous.
And he played all of Good Kid, Mad City and all of To Pimp My Butterfly. And so that show, maybe like that show and the Prince show are like maybe my top 2 shows I've ever been to.
Wow.
But if you watch, they still have it on like PBS stuff.
See you in the crowd just.
You can, and I look so out of place. I look so like nerdy. Like I'm like like bobbing my head and just like singing along, and
just
I just
entranced,
like just like look out of place. Like I just look so like nerdy. Like I'm kind of this like silly hipster kid. Like
that's a top 10 moment right there.
It was amazing. And it was cool because I didn't really know how he would perform, but he played with the band.
Oh really?
It was like it was like a band. It wasn't like there was no like
it wasn't like speakers.
Yeah, like I
so
was,
he had them playing guitar and the drums. And stuff
it was
like
a drummer,
that.
a guitarist, a bassist.
That hit that was different. That hits different.
And they were all wearing all black. They all just looked so cool. And like when he when they started playing All Right, and like everybody
that hits just different for sure.
Yeah.
So I think my best concert experience is probably Tyler the Creator.
I
have yet to see
because he came to Dallas like I want to say February of this year. I can't remember.
And I have yet to see both those people.
Yeah, and speaking of fashion, and speaking of musicians, I want to photograph.
Man,
he's got the best style, and he's also like just I want to photograph him so bad.
Yeah, because that concert because Kali Uchis was there too.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
I need the bro. I wanted to go to her concert. Bro, I love that woman. I love that woman.
But like, it was crazy because most of his is a lot of pyrotechnics. It just like explosions going off. It was amazing.
That sounds awesome.
For me, he had like this center stage that was like a forest scene. It was crazy.
I'm so jealous. That's so cool.
For me, it was my most exhilarating experience, and you were going back to you talking about the guitar solo that Prince played. I went to, I don't know if you're familiar with her, but I went to a Summer Walker concert, and she was playing this song called "Playing Games," and she released the live album. I really like her as an artist because she really releases a lot of live music, live versions of the songs. So I kind of get to actually feel the R&B and soul in the songs. And so this dude at the end, he played like the maddest guitar solo towards the end, and it was insane. And feeling the drums and the actual guitar in person, that hits different.
That's amazing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's something, yeah, there's something just about going to shows, like going to concerts. It's just like,
Though I hate standing.
I do hate
it's
it.
tough.
Man.
I mean, that's one thing. And as I get older, because I mean, I can't go to festivals anymore. I used to be able to just.
I don't got it in me.
Oh
I
man,
can't do
I used to be
it.
able to do it. Like I used to. I mean, I would go to Coachella every year when I was a kid. Like,
I imagine that's just
a kid. I
party
was, like,
city.
18. Yeah, it was like, but it was like fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
We loved it. And like, you know, you're on the hot sun. It's like 120 degrees out. You know.
But somehow you're just
And-
going through it.
Yeah, you just love it. You know.
Yeah.
But I can't do that anymore. Even Austin City Limits, even though it's like right there in Austin, it's not as bad. It's like you know, like, I think it's in like in October, so it's like the weather's not terrible. But it's just so much. It's so intense. It's too much.
Like there was a, because with my girlfriend I go to her concerts a lot, and it was Luna and Vacations. They had a
You
concert.
saw the Vacations?
Yeah, and
pretty
it was just in like a bar, right? But it was like 60 people packed in together, and like I'm like this close to the stage, and my legs are just on fire.
Oh man.
I'm trying to lean on it. I'm just holding on for dear life. I just can't do it like that, man. Or like I went to an Eden concert, and that was like 5 hours, 6 hours.
Oh man. And then and if you want to get like a good spot, say it's general admission, and you got floor seats or whatever,
Yeah.
and you want to be up front.
I like being
You
at
got-
the barricade.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's another reason I like to be at the barricade is usually like right up on the other side of the barricade. There's kind of like these like shelves. They're not like real shelves. They're not like supposed to be shelves, but I think it's just the way that the barricade is like built.
That you just lean on.
No, well, you could set things down on it.
Ah.
So I always like have like a water bottle that I can just set there.
Down there.
And then you know, try to just take sips of it so I don't have to use the restroom, because then if I leave, I lose my spot, right?
What's your worst
So-
concert experience?
Oh man, I think I've had a few like pretty bad ones where it's just like been insanely hot. I can't think of any right now, but I know that I've had them, because I know that I'm just like.
I went to a Suicide Boys concert once, and like the way the venue was set, because there's the pit, like where
Yeah.
everyone stands, and then there's seats, and then past that is like a backyard situation where it's just greenery you sit in, and I had to sit in the backyard section. It was the coldest shit ever. It was great music, but fuck that, I can't be in the cold like that. And it was just the floor.
Yeah.
It was just dirt.
I think I prefer the cold over the heat.
Oh, 100%.
Both suck though.
Yeah.
Like both are like pretty rough.
Because like when I hear people go to Coachella, I'm just like, I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah.
Especially like this past year, it was so bad.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
You hear what happened?
No.
It was like a lot of rain, so the desert became like a mud pit.
It's just mud. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
stinks.
no. Yeah, that
like
is
Chris
not-
Rock and them got stuck out there.
Oh, that's right. No,
Yeah.
was that? No, that was
It wasn't Coachella.
No, it was the other one, the one that's in the
Burning Man.
Burning Man.
Yeah.
Burning Man. They're very similar. They're like super similar.
When
though,
you
right?
said it, I just kept saying Burning Man in my head.
Yeah. No, they're very similar. I think. I think the fashion and stuff is like very similar.
Have you been to Burning Man?
Never.
Right.
It looks kind of cool, but I don't think I'm again. I was like, I think I'm too old.
I ain't got
for
it in
that,
me either,
yeah.
man. I'm past my prime.
Yeah.
For me, I have yet to have a bad concert experience, really. For me, it's always been perfectly in the middle of spring where it's not too hot.
Yeah.
And it's not too cold. But, man, I have yet to be to anything where they've, like, raved or, like, just jumped.
I can't go
Like,
to a rave.
Oh man, I've been to raves. I've been to raves, been to shows. I've been to punk shows. I liked punk when I was a kid. So I used to like mosh. You know, like with like
That's Ethan's
yeah. I
thing,
remember.
man. He
Did you
loves
used to be in the
bands.
middle? You used
Yeah.
to be in the middle of the bunch?
Yeah, you got to be in the middle. But like I remember I saw Bad Religion, which is it's a old school punk band that I used to love, and I just remember just like getting in the mosh pit and just like wailing.
I love Bad Religion.
Yeah, Bad
I
Religion is
love-
so good.
I went to a Death Grips concert. They're not punk
Yeah,
at all.
Yeah.
But my friend, I'm not gonna say his full name, but he went, and I remember one of my favorite photos of him is he's sitting on a curb, and the right side of his face is clean, well cut, everything, and the left side of his body is tattered, ripped up. His face is covered in like scratches because he went so hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What happened?" He was like, "Some guy had his keys, and his keys sliced above my eyebrow,
Oh
so
my
the
God.
tissue and it just
Oh no,
blood."
you just
Wow.
like bled.
Yeah, and he was just going so crazy. I love punk shows.
Yeah, they're the best. They're so fun. I haven't gone to one in years, but I think like growing up, that was like my gateway drug into music was like punk music, and then that got me into like indie music, and
Right.
yeah.
I think
so-
I heard y'all mention like worst shows. I actually
Yeah.
used to play a lot of live music, and I remember I was helping out they needed a bass player for this punk gig.
Yeah.
And this drummer, so I performed, and then there was this drummer and after me. So apparently he was on some type of drug. And so what he did is after I was taking a while to get off stage because I showed up late, so I was picking up all my stuff, and he's like, "Get the fuck off the stage!" And he grabs a cymbal and he throws it at me. And whenever he hit me, he threw like a not a frisbee, but like vertically, so like a disc, and it went like that. And I remember I saw it, and it like hit me here, and I remember like I just cut this part of my skull.
Oh my god.
It wasn't that deep. Like
Yeah.
it healed in like a week. And I was like, it's funny because my parents were like, "What happened?" And I was like, "Oh, I just fell," because I didn't want to tell them what happened because
Yeah.
they freaked out.
Right.
But the drummer was apparently he got arrested like 3 hours later
Whoa.
because he was just carrying so many drugs and like he was just rampaging in Dallas.
wild.
Yeah, I loved punk, but like that was my last punk show because I
Yeah.
went from jazz to punk, and
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, I'm taking a break."
No, definitely. They get pretty rowdy sometimes. They're fun. They're so fun though.
Yeah. It's really nice people, but every once in a while you have a bad ache like that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Have you ever
That's so
had
cool.
Love
have
punk
you-
shows.
Have you ever had a moment where you were in a rave or in a mosh and your life like flashed before your eyes? Like, have you had that? Have you had a life flash before your eyes moment?
Not so much at shows that I can remember. I have been like kicked. Like I dropped something and like reached down to get it, and like everybody's just like being aggressive. And also I've been pushed up against a barricade, which is like not a good feeling, and
Scary.
it is scary. Yeah, and it sucks that people will behave that way at some shows, But I've been at shows that like bigger shows or bigger concerts. I think it was Arcade Fire or something. Also at Coachella, but I think I was like up at the barricade, and as soon as the band came out, people just started
Going
pushing,
in, yeah.
and I was just my chest is like going up against the barricade, and I'm like, whoa, this is like knocking my air out kind of thing. But not so bad. I didn't come out with any sort of like damage or anything, but you hear these stories of like how they can get pretty bad. Sometimes people can be a little too much.
I mean, for me, the only time it got weird was one dude tried to give me drugs at an Eden concert. Because I remember my girl had to like use the bathroom, so I was just sitting there chilling. And he's like, "Hey man, you love Eden?" I was like, "He's whatever. He's good. He's cool." Like I've never really listened to it before. He's like, "I know how to make that show feel amazing." And he has the little like pill, and I'm just like, "Nah, I just
I'm
can't
good.
do it."
Yeah.
Good,
He's like,
bud.
"Nah, man, nah, it's gonna be amazing." I'm like, "I'm about to get mollied out of here."
Yeah. And it sucks because you don't know what's in it, right? Like,
I don't know.
Everything's laced with fentanyl now, so
Oh,
it's like you
Lord.
don't know. So it's like dangerous. Like it's scary. You don't know. You can't just take drugs
Anything.
from anybody,
But I do want to go to more concerts.
Yeah, same. Yeah, you'll have anything coming up soon? I went to this is like a total like dad rock band, but I saw the National like 2 weeks ago. I don't even know if y'all know who they
Yeah.
are, but
I think Kali Uchis is coming out with an album, so I know I'll have something to go to eventually.
You're never gonna
'cause she's
see her, bro.
coming out.
She's not gonna like you, bro.
One day I will.
You're not the one, bro.
Mark my words, this podcast will get me on the same carpet as that woman.
I've said the same thing about Billie Eilish. It's not happening, bro. Now was it? I think Luna. I really like their stuff.
Yeah, I have listened to Luna. I've heard like 2 of their songs this year.
There's another like like Hispanic band, and I remember I'm watching the show, but like I'm looking at the singer, and like my eyes kind of like haze over, and like I like back up, like for some reason like he dazed me when I looked at him. I'll never forget that shit. I think I fell in love.
You think you fell in
Yeah,
love?
yeah, it was a special moment between me and him.
Are there any Latin artists that have impacted your life, like in any type of way?
Oh man, yeah. Like, of course. I grew up on that stuff. I even listen to it all the time now. It's like stuff that I don't even know if like if it was like played. I don't know how to. It's like nostalgic, right? So like, but I like and I love it. Like it's good, and to me, I like love it. Like I think it's so good. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, but there's several artists. There's a group called Bronco that are just like amazing. Like I just like my mom loved them growing up. You know, she used to clean the house to them. Love them. And there's a guy named Juan Gabriel who's just like, you know, stuff like that. And then more recently, of course, there's an artist that I think is very, very popular. A lot of people know her. And she's incredible, and I really love her work. Her name is Natalia Lafourcade, and
Wow.
she did the music for Coco, or she did a song for Coco, at least the Disney Pixar movie. So she got like a little bit more recognition for that, which I thought was really cool outside of like kind of Latin America. And then there's this one artist that I started listening to kind of in the 2010s, no sooner. Like the 2000s. Her name was Julieta Venegas. Very kind of like I feel like it's kind of indie for like Mexico, but she's a Mexican musician that I just really love, and I really love her music. And her sister is actually a really incredible photographer, also, and that I also follow. So it's really cool.
I think for me, I'm probably gonna butcher this guy's name, but a while back, I had a friend, Tristan. He's half black, half Hispanic, and he had put me on to this guy named Fuerza Regida, and that's all I listen to for the most part.
Oh
the
man,
whole entire
I've
time.
never listened to that. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, man, you have to listen to him. I don't know the types of genres, but I know there's like, they like got cumbia, they got bachata, they got. So I don't know this particular genre of that he's in, but it kind of sounds traditional, like with the band and the guitar playing and stuff like that. But he's one of the guys that kind of I never really thought I would ever kind of like get into it and like it, but I've kind of been getting into it lately.
That's awesome.
But
That's so cool. You gotta send it to me.
and I also listen to Carol G. I know she's pretty mainstream. There's this other Spanish. She's more Spanish than Latin America, but I can't think of her name right now. But I've kind of been getting into my Latin bag a little bit.
That's awesome. That's cool.
But-
Yeah, send me some Rex. I love new music, so.
Yeah, man.
You know who I've been liking? It's kind of not on the same trajectory that we're going on, but still music. Olivia Rodrigo. I'm like kind of her music is actually like, and it's like something that I didn't think I was gonna like be super into, but like it's just so her work is so reminiscent of like all these girl rock bands of like the 2000s that I'm like, dang, it's really good.
It's just bringing you back to
Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, they're catchy songs, but they're like, they're catchy and great. Not like they're not catchy, but like they're great. Yeah,
Was there ever
I respect her a lot.
Was there ever an artist that you didn't think you would ever like, and now you like them?
I mean, I guess that, but
Or I think rather genre.
genre.
What's the genre you didn't think you would like but got into?
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know, because I've always kind of liked everything. You know, a lot of people say like, "Oh, I like everything but country." I like country. There's like a lot of good country out there, and I like older country. Like one of my favorite musicians, like hands down, one of my favorite artists ever, is this guy Townes Van Sant, and he's just this like, just heartbroken cowboy guy. Like it's just like his music is just like devastating, but he's like a lot of people would consider him like a songwriter. So he just like he was kind of like very underrated for a long time. But I think in the last like 10 years he's gotten like a lot of more recognition. But he kind of like a lot of these guys, I think he like slowly just kind of killed himself with drugs and alcohol, which is really sad. But yeah.
Now people are appreciating his music.
Yeah. Really incredible songwriter.
See, I can't say shit because I just don't know music like that. I really don't.
I'd say genre-wise, I never ever really thought I would ever get into K-pop or K anything.
I've never listened to K-pop, but it's like huge. People love it, and I'm sure that if I like started kind of delving into that world, I would find some stuff that I really love.
One guy, and I know it's mainstream. He's mainstream right now, but it's because he kind of just produced something that kind of was more K R&B-ish in nature. I mean, a mixture of K-pop and R&B. But Jungkook he's been cooking. He dropped this single called "Standing Next to You," and it kind of gives off a Michael Jackson, Prince type feel. He's going for that type of feel with it. And it's kind of been playing, and it's kind of been making me get into his music more and stuff like that. But also another guy I never really thought I would like, Jack Harlow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
but I appreciate it, bro. I actually decided to listen to it, and man, this dude be spitting. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't do this. You can leave, bro. Sorry.
I was talking to somebody about him the other day because I made an illustration, and my friend Gracie was like, "Hey, that kind of looks like Jack Harlow," and I was like, I know the name,
Just have no idea the face.
I even think I know the face, and I could see why she was saying it looked like him, but I don't know the music. Like, it's one of those things where, like, if I'm inside like a Target or Starbucks, that song probably is gonna play at some point, right? One of the songs,
Right.
and I would probably recognize it, but not know it was him. So I don't have that familiarity with Jack Harlow, so I don't know. But I feel like I've probably heard his songs.
You just didn't care to dive into it.
I just don't know who it is.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And, man, what's because I know you said you like kind of that cinematography, documentary type feel to your craft. So, like, what is motion picture something that's also influenced your passions and things of that nature?
So there's actually a specific movie that I try to get to influence my work that I watch over and over again that I love. It's a Mexican film. It's called Y Tu Mamá También. Like, it's And Your Mom Too. So is the title translated. And that movie may be my favorite movie of all time. But yeah,
You said Your Mom to You?
yeah, no, it is. Sorry, it's Y Tu Mamá También is the title, but in English it translates to And Your Mom Too, like TOO.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really cool. I don't know. You should watch it. It's a really good film. It's by the director Alfonso Cuarón. He directed like Gravity. I don't know if you ever saw Gravity, and he actually directed one of the Harry Potters, which I think is kind of wild.
Oh, cool.
He directed Roma. I don't know if you ever heard of that movie. Roma came out a few years ago. It was on Netflix.
Did you watch it?
Roma? Yeah, I saw it in a theater. You saw it 5 times?
Yeah.
In the theater?
Twice.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I saw it in 70 millimeter, and it was incredible. Yeah, it's so good. I'm really into that movie. Yeah.
There's a movie. You sound like you're really into foreign films. There's a movie that I love. It's a French movie. It's called, I don't know the French translation, but it's called It's Not Me, I Swear. It's basically about this like young boy. His parents are basically having issues at home, and he just leaves with this random like girl his age, and they just go like across France and something. It's like an hour and a half.
What's it called?
It's Not Me, I Swear.
I'm gonna look this up right now.
Yeah. I would pull it up, but I don't have my laptop on me.
I'm starting to like those like foreign films, like Piggy.
Yeah.
There's
like 'em.
There's another movie, The Elevator. It's the one where they're like the floor, and it's the one where they have food on this platform, and it goes down.
Yeah.
It's another horror movie.
It's called The Elevator.
I don't know.
I forget what it's called, but it's like, so it's like it's like that young dude and the old dude, and there's different levels to like this prison,
Yeah.
and like food keeps coming down each level, like less and less.
Oh wow. I got a good one for y'all.
What's up?
It's called I Saw the Devil. Have y'all?
I saw that one.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that movie is insane.
Did you ever? This is kind of everybody knows this one now, but did you ever see Mid '90s? Jonah Hill.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I love that movie.
That movie's so good. Yeah.
I was rewatching. I don't know. I just love going on. Y'all were talking about music and movies, but I love just crate digging.
Oh
It's
yeah.
my favorite thing to do nowadays.
No, definitely. It's and I just so I used to collect vinyl and I had a lot of it, but it became a problem. Like it's just a lot of people like have like
Yes.
their addictions and mine was vinyl and like I tell my wife about this because I got rid of all my vinyl before I met her, but I gave it away. I didn't even sell it. I gave it away because it was becoming a problem.
Yeah.
So I had all these like
man?
I had all these like first
do you mean
pressings
by
of like I really like Bob Dylan, so I had like Bring It All Back Home.
Yeah.
I had all these early Bob Dylan, early Beatles, just a bunch of stuff that I really liked. And I really like kind of obscure stuff. I had you were talking about MF Doom. I had this like amazing vinyl. It didn't even have a cover to it, but Peanut Butter Wolf, who produces MF Doom, like it's Stone's Throw Records. I don't know if you know, but he had this like vinyl that I found crate digging.
Yeah.
At this place, it was this rapper Charisma and Peanut Butter Wolf, and it was the most incredible like hip hop album that I think that I like randomly found, and I just like loved that album. And on Spotify, they have like a couple songs from that album,
Yeah.
but it like only exists on this vinyl. And I wish that I could find it. I think YouTube has like somebody who like played it.
Usually that's how
recorded
it goes because
Yeah.
whenever I was really into Father John Misty, I was really into
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
I got really into like crate digging for folk, and I found this one album on YouTube, but it's not there anymore because they took it down. So I gotta find the artist. It was just a long time ago, and then I love searching for There's this another. I don't even know the names right now. I had to pull up my Spotify because
Yeah.
the thing is I found a lot of stuff physically, but then it just throughout time I just got rid of it like you did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just gone away.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, sorry. Before you walk away, because I know you're going to walk away soon, but what was...
Me or him?
Not him.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, you. Return.
For the listeners, that's Ethan that's been coming in and out.
Pretty much.
Microphone.
Pretty much, what is a work of art or genre that you also didn't think that you would like that's kind of had you in a chokehold?
That's a good question. For me, growing up, it was actually jazz. I became a jazz musician, and I don't. The best way to explain it is, in order to play guitar in high school, I had to learn bass. So I learned bass, and then I loved it, and then so that's my main instrument now. So then jazz, and then I got really into it. But also, like, if you told me in high school that I would like hip hop, like Wu-Tang Clan, A Tribe Called Quest, he would have not believed you. So yeah, so it's funny because I would have never thought I was like a huge hip hop fan. But honestly, I hate saying I listen to everything, but I really do listen to everything.
I think
I will say also I love Turkish music. Turkish funk
Whoa.
is my favorite
I
genre.
don't think I've listened to
I've
Turkish funk.
never-
I would love to.
you need to put me on.
I got artists. I'll put them on after because I can't even pronounce their names. But like, there's this band I can pronounce. Their name is Altın Gun, and it's basically a cover band of Turkish funk and old Turkish music, but it's done modern. And there's a new girl. She had a not an NPR, but NEXP. It's like this radio station that also does covers. Gay Sul Akul, and she did a cover of Nirvana's Love Buzz, and it was very like Middle Eastern. I'll pull it up on the TV afterwards, but it is so good. But yeah, I gotta get off the mic because
Man.
I didn't think I would ever. I didn't think I would ever like half the music that I like without Ethan being around. To be honest, because I didn't really listen to rock music or any type of music like that. This dude put me on to like I want to say not put me onto the Beatles, but he put me onto like AC/DC, some of the Beatles songs. He's kind of like influenced like a lot of rock and kind of like early 80s and 90s things that I kind of like listen to today. So like if I told myself in high school that I'd be listening to half the stuff, that would be
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, my limited exposure to Ethan, I can just tell that he knows music.
He's a music man.
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're hitting about that time now. Anything
Yeah.
I want to say to the world outside?
No. I don't think so. Just thank you for listening to me just ramble on for a good hour 25.
And I'll do it 1,000 times over. Come on.
Man, just get your music game up, bro. Honestly.
Well, check out Danny on all platforms. We'll have him shouted out and everything.
Yeah, my Instagram is Danny Valadéz photo. Yeah, it's pretty.
Thank you
It's
for your
pretty
time.
long actually. Danny Valadéz photo.
Yeah.
And actually, is it Danny or is it Daniel? Actually, I don't even know. Let me look at it real quick.
Y'all better make sure y'all get with him,
Oh,
'cause-
Daniel. Sorry, it's Daniel Valadéz photo. That's my Instagram. But yeah, my photography's there. Yeah, follow me
Make sure y'all
if
get
you
with
want.
him, bro.
No pressure.
Make sure y'all get with him, bro. He's like one of the best people in DFW area.
That's very kind. I appreciate it, y'all. Thank you for having me on here. It really means a lot.
All right.
I was nervous.
All right. See y'all.
All right. See y'all.
Bye.